Wow. First of all, thanks for that wonderful introduction. I feel like Gizmo right now from the Gremlins. Bright light, bright light. So I'm going to have to get used to this for a second. Las Vegas, Nevada. Are you having fun yet? All right, I think y'all can do better than that. Y'all have had some of the best speakers on the planet in internet marketing, so I'm going to ask that again. Las Vegas, Nevada, are you having fun yet? All right, and first of all, I want to thank the speakers that have gone before me. I want to thank Ray and Fernie because I got to admit, I got an email just like everybody in this room about the No Excuse Summit. And when I got the email, as soon as I got the email, 2 seconds later, I bought a ticket. 2 seconds later. I bought the ticket so fast that Ray called me immediately and said, Cedric, you were the first person to buy a ticket. And I'm like, oh, okay, what's wrong with that? He said, well, I want you to be one of the speakers. I said, okay, cool, so refund my money and I'll speak. And they did, so now I'm here. A lot of people get on the internet and they totally forget about every single other marketing aspect that there is out there. So when Ray and Fernie said, Cedric, we want you to speak, they said, you know, we got some of the best internet marketers that are out here. We know you are all over the internet at the same time, but you got some really, really cool offline marketing techniques that we want you to share. So today I'm going to share with you quite a few different offline marketing techniques that you can use. I'm going to share with you some things that requires no computer, some things that you don't have to figure out HTML and all this other good stuff, because guess what? There's some things that were said today and yesterday that went over some of y'all's head. Okay, and I know a lot of your brain is on mush, and that's okay, but I've got this thing about the Jay-Z and R. Kelly concert. You got to have the best of both worlds. Okay, you got to have the best of both worlds. Okay, you've got to know offline and online. When you marry them both, some crazy things will happen. I mean, guess what would happen if you woke up one day and there was no Google? What if you woke up and there was no YouTube? What if you couldn't tell anybody that you had a ham sandwich for lunch on Twitter? You know, what if there was no Facebook? Okay, you didn't have an hour and a half to spend on Facebook and play Farmville. I'm from Richmond, Virginia. When I first saw Farmville, Farmville is a county in Virginia. And it's a very small county. And the first time I saw Farmville, I said, man, Farmville got put on the map. They on Facebook. Then I saw people playing games. I'm like, you guys are actually playing games? There's no money in this. People buying plows and all this other crap. You're spending money. I'm like, this is crazy. I got to come up with one of these things. But what if you didn't have these different techniques? I mean, everybody think about this for a second. Yes, the internet isn't going anywhere, but what if you did not have these techniques? And there are some people that are in your organization right now that aren't going to figure out everything about the internet. Some people will, some people won't. But everybody isn't going to figure out anything about the internet, so you have to learn to adapt and have a couple of different techniques. So here's 6 surefire ways for you to get leads, even if you can't spell the word internet. Okay? Even if you can't spell it. Some of y'all are on the internet right now. Okay? Checking Facebook and all this good stuff. Pay attention. Pay attention. Now, I learned a long time ago that you can either be rich or you can be right. Now, there's a lot of people that are going to look at some of these techniques and say, oh, well, I'm too cool for that, Cedric. I'm not going to do that. Be cool. Be broke. I'd rather be rich. How about you? Okay, so everybody have a big, gigantic open mind and pay close attention. Let's start talking about some of these things. All righty. One of my favorite offline marketing techniques, some of y'all have seen them. Some of y'all have recruited people already this weekend with this technique because you paid attention to my table. The $100 bill drop cards. They're so simple and duplicatable that it's scary. It's scary how simple and duplicatable it is. Here, let me prove it to you. All righty. Here's a $100 bill drop card. Okay? How many of you have seen these before, first of all? Okay, great. How many of you have not? Almost the same amount. I'm going to teach you some techniques that you can use with them that you're going to have one of those Arsenio Hall moments. One of those things that make you say, $100 bill drop card, real $100 bill. All righty. Trust me when I tell you I won't drop the real one. Look at that. Don't they almost look identical? Now, for those people that think they're really, really cool, I promise you that if you see this on the ground right now, in the casino, that was called a hint. If you see this on the ground in the casino, I promise you, you won't do. No, here's what you're going to do. You're going to do like most people do. You're going to see it, and you're going to go, doo, 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 wham. You're going to look to the left, whoop. Look to the right, whoop. Then you're going to pick that baby up, have a smile on your face so big I can stick a banana in it sideways, and walk away. Because this is what most people do. You know, I sold a guy in Dallas, Texas, 2 years ago, 40,000 of these at a seminar, right? He bought 40,000 of them. Now, we were at the airport in DFW, and he said, Cedric, I want to see if these things really work. I said, bro, this is dangerous. He said, no, I want to see if they really work. I said, all right, step back. Give me a couple of them. You go sit down and just watch. Well, I dropped one of the drop cards for him, just dropped it down. And there was a lady and her husband holding hands, and she had her suitcase. And they zoned in on that $100 bill drop card. And she walked over with her suitcase, put her suitcase right over top of the drop card. She sat down. She looked to the left. She looked to the right. She picked up that drop card, grabbed her husband's hand, and strolled away. So happy. My partner looked at me and said, man, this is cool. Let's do it again. He was like a kid in the candy store. I love these because my daughter has no idea this is how I pay her child support. I have to send her a couple thousand a month because she thinks it's hilarious to go to the mall and drop them all over the place and see people pick them up. And I get leads from it. Where'd you find my website at? In the mall, in Virginia Center Commons, in Virginia. Interesting. I know I ain't been to Virginia in a couple of months. My daughter, you gotta love her. So here's a handful of ways for you to use these very, very effectively. Number one, how many of you pay for your gas at the pump? Here's what I figured out. These drop cards fit perfectly in the credit card slot at the gas station. Perfectly. Now, every one of you know I talk about prospecting while you're out instead of going out to prospect. You are fooling yourself if you think you're going out to prospect. Here's what amateur network marketers do. Amateur network marketers. A group of them get together, they go to the mall, they pile up. Today we're going prospecting, and we're gonna find somebody sharp. Sir, you look like a really sharp guy. Do you keep your options open when it comes to making money?
Sure do.
Oh yeah, most people don't say that though. See, when you do that on a cold, when you're cold and you do that, most people are looking at you like you're nuts. Who are you? Where are you from? What's your name? And you're stalking them. You're not network marketing, you're network stalking. Oh my goodness, look at that guy. He's got a really sharp tie on. He's dressed nicely. I know he's a good candidate. No. I use these every time I go to the gas station, so much so that I've gotten in the habit of not filling up my gas tank. Because now it forces you to market. You see, if your car takes $50 to fill up, put $10 in there. You got to market every day now. Because every time you go to the gas station, you get to stick one in. Now, what's going to happen if that person doesn't like it? They're going to take it out and throw it on the ground. Now, what just happened? It just went viral. Now the next person gets to pick it up. Oh my goodness, there's another drop card. People will play tricks on people to see what they do, and then it ends up in the right person's hands. One of those things that make you say, How many of these do you pass by on a daily basis? Newspaper stand. Look at that, see? Hold on, let me put my website on it. Recruiting. All righty. How many of these do you pass by on a regular basis? Newspaper stands. How much does it cost to open up a newspaper stand? 25 cents. Stick 25 cents in to open up the newspaper stand. There's 50 newspapers in there, right? Take a drop card, stick it at all 50 newspapers, and close the stand back up. Oh, Cedric, is that legal? I've learned to ask for forgiveness, not permission. If somebody says something to you at that newspaper stand, guess what? Go to another one. Who cares? Okay? This is very, very simple. Very, very simple. Sky Mall. Majority of you flew here. What's one of the first things that you do when you sit down in the airplane? You look at the Sky Mall magazine and look at the lovely little gadgets. Am I the only one that bought that crazy fish tank in there? You know that fish tank? They got the sunglasses with the cameras on them and all that crazy stuff. Isn't it? I mean, Sky Mall has some really, really cool stuff. Now, if you're flying from Las Vegas to Atlanta, hot Atlanta, and you just happen to be sitting there with a Sky Mall magazine, you stick it in the Sky Mall magazine. That plane went from Vegas to Atlanta, and later on that day it might end up in Houston, Texas, and then Albuquerque, New Mexico, right? Now you are marketing all over the place now, aren't you? How about on your way to the seat? On your way to your seat, you ever want to recruit a stewardess? Don't they have to clean the plane when everybody leaves? Start thinking outside the box, ladies and gentlemen. Drop it on the floor. Just don't do it in the middle of the plane being in flight. You don't want to cause a big, gigantic problem. All righty. Now, what type of people read these books? The type of people that you want in your business. The Greatest Secret in the World, my second favoriteest book to the Bible. Think and Grow Rich, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and The Secret. It's a secret. That ain't no secret. That's in the Bible. That's called great marketing, though. That's called great marketing. I ain't mad at them. I'm just mad that they interview me because I ain't get a piece of the deal. But it's not a secret. Now, here's what's so cool about The Secret. How many of you have read the book? Look at that. Look at think things into, just think. Come on, just focus. 10 million is going to fall out of the air. Focus. No, you're going to have a headache because your vein is going to be popping out of your head. There's no money is going to follow without action. Okay? However, The Secret is a really cool book for marketing in because there's a chapter in that book called Prosperity. Go to Barnes & Noble's, Books A Million, grab The Secret book, take a drop card, stick it right in the chapter that says prosperity. Stick it right back on the shelf. Now, the next person who buys that book, they start reading the book, and they're still getting into the secret thing really hard. They get to the chapter called Prosperity, and all of a sudden, $100 bills are falling out the book. This secret thing really works. Oh, my goodness. Some of y'all might be too cool to do that. However, I still sponsor reps to this day doing it. Ay. Housekeepers love drop cards. Now, I've learned to turn lemons into lemonade all my life. A couple of years ago, I had a couple of $100 stolen from me in a hotel room from a housekeeper. And we couldn't prove who it was, blah, blah, blah. So all the way to this day, I do not allow people to clean my room. I always put that privacy please sign on. The past 48 hours, for some reason, I caught amnesia here in this hotel. Okay, I have no idea why. Late nights. Interesting. Now, think about this for a second. Most people never leave housekeepers tips. Don't they do a great job? Don't they clean up your mess? You leave a waiter or a waitress a tip, but you don't leave a housekeeper a tip. Leave them a tip with the drop card a tip with a drop card, and I always write a little note. I know housekeeping isn't the best job on the planet. If you keep your options open for making additional money, give me a shout. With the drop card sitting right there. Now you're prospecting while you're out instead of going out to prospect. Waiters and waitresses. Waiters, waitresses, school teachers, coaches are the best people that you could be bringing inside of your network marketing business. Now, why are waiters and waitresses really, really good to bring in your business? In most places, they're paid $2-3 an hour, aren't they? They have to give you good service to get a good tip now, don't they? They have to be nice, they have to be cordial, and majority of them are always smiling, they're really happy because they want that 20+%. And if you're nice, you might give them a little more. Next time you're in a good restaurant, and you can't do this being stingy. You can't have a $100 bill and leave a $5 tip with a $100 drop card. That just isn't cool. And you want that person to call you because you act like you're successful. Leave the waiter or waitress a nice tip with the drop card on the inside of the tab. Okay? I was just at the Grill Smith restaurant last Friday in Tampa, Florida, and I was able to recruit my waiter there doing this technique because I left him a nice tip, but he checked his tip before I walked out. And he said, hey, what's this website thing right here? What's this? People like doing business with people that are busy. Get in the habit of looking at your arm. Hey, Brian, I can't talk to you right now because I'm on my way out the door right now, but check out the website. Give me a shout. I disappear. Call me the next day, like what he saw, new rep in the business. Prospecting while you're out. Little did he know he paid for my dinner. He didn't even realize it. I mean, think about how much do you get paid inside of your network marketing business when you sign up somebody. I don't know what business that you're in, but he paid for my dinner by coming into the business. Think about that. Step outside of the box. Now, this is one of my favorites. This is literally one of my favorites because this is truly thinking outside the box. Every last one of you in this room gets junk mail on a regular basis. Is it me or is Capital One always trying to get you in debt? Okay, they want to send you a new credit card offer every single day. Now, they send them to you with little envelopes that say, no postage necessary if mailed in the United States. And you just normally throw this stuff away. You get it from all these different people that are soliciting. Now, who do you think is opening up that mail? You think the owner of Capital One is actually opening up that? No, it goes into a mail room. I talked to my cousin about this one day, and because he works in the mail room, and I said, what's the atmosphere in the mail room? He said, it's hot. Whole bunch of people pissed off, because all we got to do all day is open up mail. How exciting do you think it is, Mr. Cedric? Ooh. Don't get mad at me, because I'm an entrepreneur. However, I use it to my advantage. I said, okay, very cool. So now every time I get this junk mail, I take a piece of paper, wrap the $100 bill inside of the piece of paper because, you know, if your mailman thinks that you got $100 bills inside of the envelope, you know, he might just be cracking them open, seeing what you're doing. However, it's a good way to recruit the mailman, too. I'll tell you how I was able to do that. When that mail goes back, now it's going into a mail room, okay? And that person that's opening up the mail makes what? $10, $12, $15 an hour. And you have a drop card that says something like, if you didn't make $10,000 last month, that's your business. If you want to make $10,000 every single month, that's my business. With your website. Interesting. You can recruit people right out of the mailroom. Now, my mailman came to me one day because he kept seeing me do this. I've got a couple of businesses and I own a couple of properties, and I get so much junk mail that it's scary. That I have bags of mail that sometimes it drives me nuts when I leave town for a couple of days because I got to go through all this mail to find those checks. I don't care about the junk mail. Just give me the checks. And every single week I'm putting out this junk mail, and he came to me one day and he said, Cedric, there's no way that you need that many credit cards. There's just no way. Why are you sending all this back? I said, I know you're on your route right now and you're pretty busy. Why don't you stop by my house later on this evening and I'll show you what I do. He couldn't tell me he didn't have the money. Mailman make really good money. And for those of you that know, I know how to close. He didn't leave my house without me getting the credit card. I love it. Toll booth. How many of you have a toll booth where you live? Raise your hand. Okay. All right. How many of you are in network marketing? Okay, great. You have people in your organization that have toll booths. Okay? No matter if it's in your city or not. Here's a great way for you to recruit while you're out. Next time you go through a toll booth, I want you to look at the car behind you. Make sure it's a halfway decent car. It's not like a 1953 Chevette or nothing. You know, something halfway decent that at least has a CD player in it. Okay? And pay the toll for the person behind you. It might look a little bit like this. Let's say the toll cost you $1. Give the toll collector $2, give her a CD, and say, give that to the person behind me. Now, that person pulls up, and the toll collector says, that person in front of you just paid for your toll and wanted me to give you this. One of the best CDs to do it with is Robert Kiyosaki, The Business of the 21st Century, as well as one of Bob Proctor's, one of my favorites, What Would You Do If Your Annual Income Turned Into Your Monthly Income? Now, here's why this is so cool. First of all, what did it cost you for marketing? $1. And you did it while you were out. Now, if someone paid for your toll and gave you a CD from Robert Kiyosaki, would you stick it in your CD player? You got to at least check it out, right? Now, how many of you have thrown away CDs? 1. 2. There's 1,000 of you here. That ratio is a little off. CDs stay in people's cars, stay in their CD players. I know people that I've recruited people from having the CD in the back seat of somebody's car because they weren't interested, but somebody else saw it. How simple is that? You didn't even have to talk to do that. Very, very simple. Now, I learned this technique from the great Dale Calvert, a gentleman that has been in this industry for a long period of time, that's done extremely well in network marketing. And when I heard this technique, I said, oh, this is ingenious. Ingenious. Alrighty. Library book promotion. Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Cash Flow Quadrant, The Millionaire Next Door, 48 Laws of Power, all those good books. You might have a couple of those that you've read a couple of different times and you're cool with them. Take the book, get a stamp made at Kinko's or your local print shop, and let's say that you live in Kansas City, Missouri. For business opportunities in the Kansas City, Missouri area, call Cedric with your phone number and your website. Just a stamp. It'll cost you $10. Take the book, stamp the first page, stamp the middle, stamp the end, and donate it to the library. For 2 reasons. Number 1, the person who checks that book out is the type of person you want in your business now, don't you? And subliminally, as they read the book, they keep seeing for business opportunities in the St. Louis area. Now, don't go through a 50-page book and stamp it 48 times. Stamp it like 3 times, that's it. In the beginning, in the middle, in the end. Donate it to the library. Now, I'm no accountant, so I'm not going to give you tax advice. However, this is also a write-off. And if you're making money in this industry, you need as many as you can possibly get. So you've got a win-win situation with that. Now don't you? I heard 3 people. Now don't you? Yeah. Very cool. That's the definition of a closer. You don't move forward until you get the answer that you're looking for. Y'all got it? Yeah. You sure? Yeah. Cool. God, I love this. This is like being a puppet master. All righty. Technique number 5. Home Business Preview Guide. These magazines still work, ladies and gentlemen, for those of y'all that are wondering. Okay? CuttingEdgeMedia.com, Home Business Preview Guide. You see me right there on the front cover of this magazine. Okay? These magazines still work. 23,000 network marketers that are receiving this magazine. And that's just one particular issue. You've got numerous different issues that you have out there. Whether it's a 5-inch ad, whether it's a half-page ad, whether it's a full-page ad. Okay? You've got a lot of different people that are able to see these particular ads that are out there, and they're targeted toward your market. Okay? If you were, let me ask you a question. If you had weight loss, if your product was weight loss, would you talk to a bunch of skinny people? Well, would you? No, because they're good. Okay? You're in network marketing, so who is your target market? Network marketers. You keep talking to people who can't even spell entrepreneur. You're sitting down with people, drawing them a bunch of circles, taking them back to algebra class. When you get 3, and you get 3, and you get 3, and you get 3, and you get 3. That's all fine and dandy, but it's a lot easier when you're talking to people who are already in the industry. Now, how would y'all like to actually be able to recruit some people that are friends and family without pissing them off? Only 5 of you. Okay. Okay. All righty. Don't you get tired of calling your mother, your sister, your brother, your aunt, your uncle, and they say, oh, you're going to jail like Bernie Madoff. You're in one of those pyramid things. Those things don't ever work. And some of your organization actually believe them. You wonder why they don't call you back anymore. They changed your name from LaTanya to HIV, so when you call, they don't answer. Because they went and talked to somebody who stole their dream. Okay? There's a way to recruit them indirectly without you pissing them off. And ironically, I learned this technique a couple of years ago from a gentleman who's actually in the room. One of the top network marketers out there, you should meet him. His name is Aaron Rashkin. And he has no idea that I learned this technique from him, but I had to give him some love because at the end of the day, I am a collage of numerous different people. I learned a long time ago, follow people who have what you want and you will get what they have. It's just that simple. I was reading through an article that he had one day and I saw this and I said, man, this is really, really cool. And I started using it, I started teaching it, and I got a lot of results by doing it. You can simply call up your mother, call up your sister, call up your brother, and let's say that you're in a company called Ramway. Thanks, Dave. Had to use that one, Dave. Let's say you're in a company called Ramway. Okay, you figure it out. You would call up your brother, your sister, your mother, and say, hey, Johnny, I just got involved in a company called Ramway, and we market all types of household products and things that you already use. If anybody ever talks to you about Ramway, do me a favor and talk to me about it first. Is that fair? Humans behave in predictable manners, and I just proved it to you. Remember this. Humans behave in predictable manners. Once you understand this, you will become Neo from the Matrix. Everything starts to move in slow motion. Because you already know what they're going to say. They're going to say one of two things. What is it? Or, okay. That's it. Those are the only two responses. So if they say, what is it? Now you become busy. Johnny, can't talk to you about it right now. I'm really, really busy helping a lot of people right now. But what's a good time I can talk to you about this? Tomorrow at 2 or Friday at 6? Tomorrow at 2. Great. I'll talk to you about it tomorrow at 2. Pew! Then you get them on the phone, 3-way with your upline, put them in front of a webinar presentation, however you actually market your business. Now, if they say, okay, now you've subliminally put it in their mind. So if anybody ever talks to them about Ramway, my cousin Johnny is in that thing. Now, some of you have totally ignored all your friends and family, and here's one of the best ways to catch an ulcer. I'm going to show you one of the best ways to catch an ulcer. You thought that your cousin or your brother or your sister wouldn't do the business, so you didn't tell them about it. Then they joined under somebody else. They end up on stage as a top income earner in your company. You're in the back of the room like, oh, I know my brother isn't making 50 grand a month. Then you start counting some money that you can't spend. You start counting all the overrides that you missed because you did not open up your mouth. Let me explain. At the end of the day, you can know every single marketing technique known to man, but if you can't close a door, it don't matter. Let me repeat that. You can know every single marketing technique known to man, but if you can't close a door, it doesn't matter. You've got to understand human nature, You got to understand that people are like puppets. They will do what you do. You got to understand how to slide in little subliminal things that really, really work. And inside of my breakout session, I'm going to give you a lot of those goodies. Do you think some of those goodies might assist you in bringing on some new representatives? All right. Come check me out downstairs, room 901. I will be giving you some of those techniques as well as doing a Q&A. And I'm in one of those moods. You know, I had an energy drink a little while ago, so I'm going to just kind of just give it to you. So come out, hang out with me in the breakout room. I'm Cedric Harris. Thanks for listening.